I also have seen that you've been pretty vocal on your social platforms during this Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
Talk about the importance of us being allies in this situation, and the power of us speaking up as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a period of time after the Blackout Tuesday where I didn't necessarily say a whole lot, posted some things in my story, because I think it's a point where we also have to, I don't want to say shut up and learn, but we do. We have to listen and we have to learn and we have to understand where our brothers and sisters are coming from. I have been fortunate enough that growing up, diversity was always prevalent. My high school was probably a third, a third, a third, if you're going to talk Black,
Mm-hmm.
Hispanic, and white. You know, so it was never a point where I wasn't exposed or I didn't know. I was the only white girl on our basketball team at one point in time, and
Yeah.
they didn't treat me any different. I didn't feel weird, and so it hurt my heart a lot when all this started, because I'm just so many people that I'm close to of color that I want to be able to help, and they're okay, but at the same time it's like, what can we do? And the best thing we can do right now is continue to educate our friends and
Mm-hmm.
our family and whoever it is. And so that's where I speak out, because people need to be educated and we need to educate the younger generations. I
Mm-hmm.
have a 8-year-old stepdaughter, and last weekend we stayed at my parents' house to watch all 4 dogs that are over there, and we had the TV on, and she was like, what are the protests and what does this mean? And we had a conversation, and she was like, but everybody should be nice to everybody. And I'm like, if only that were really
You would
how,
think
maybe,
that that's how everybody would feel. Yeah.
right, maybe we should go back to thinking the way 5 to 10-year-olds think.
Right.
But yeah, it's important because a lot of people listen to us, a lot of people read what we post, and um, we have to be there for everyone. But right now, Black Lives Matter, because they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
If they mattered, if all lives mattered, we wouldn't have to say Black Lives Matter right now.
Preach.
And so,
Say it again for the
so
people in the back,
right,
because
right,
holy cow, that's been something I've been seeing. But I mean, I completely agree
yeah,
with what you're saying. And I think it goes far beyond social media. I think there's so many things that you can do in your communities. And there's so many intricate layers of racism in our society that we might not be aware of. There were so many things that I've been learning just by, like you said, kind of listening and looking back and educating myself and taking that upon myself to do that. So as a fellow ally, I appreciate what you're doing, and I think it's really cool. So keep it up. We're going to go into a bit of kind of a question and answer. It's going to be all over the place. I
okay,
just want to get your thoughts on some different things. And then if
all
you
right,
guys are, those of you that are watching and tuning in, if you guys want to ask any questions, we're going to kind of circle back around if we have some time for some fan questions. So get your questions in right now as we're starting. But basic question of the most basic questions of questions. When did you start playing softball?
Oh, so the first time I ever played softball I was 6, and I quit right away. I hated it.
I'm out.
First, first through fifth graders were on the same team, and fifth graders were pitching, and I was like, not for me. I'll go back to soccer. And then I played again when I was 10, which is when I started pitching, actually. And I'll tell people a lot now. I fell in love with pitching more than I did the sport itself, which is probably why I never cared to hit or anything like that. I mean, don't
Right.
get me wrong, I hit for a little bit, but yeah, as soon as I got in the circle, game over.
So as you've been, I mean, you're still doing this, which is so cool, because it's been like, you have so many memories, I'm sure, of
Right?
different things that have happened to you. But what about pitching makes it so special? Like, what do you love the most about pitching?
Yeah, I think at an early age I realized you can't be perfect at it, but you can work as hard as you can work really hard to be as close as you can get.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not a perfectionist in everything in my life by any means. That's what everyone's like. Pitchers are always perfection. I'm like, no, come look at my house. I'm not a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Um, but just being able to try to work to be.
Okay, I can hear you.
You
Can
got
you
me?
hear me now?
I think. Yeah, I can hear you now. I think.
Okay. Awesome. It cut out a little bit, but um,
My
Was there
husband swore
anybody?
this was a great spot to stop.
I know.
Apparently it
You're
wasn't.
like, the service looked great. I'm next to a tower. I don't know what's going on. Was there anybody specifically that you idolized of any sport? Was there a specific athlete that you can remember when you were a kid?
Yeah, there were two. Well, growing up in Houston, followed the Astros. I mean, I've been a huge Astros fan the whole time. I know they cheated. Well, I'm not condoning it, but I'm not going to hate on my Astros or disown them. And so watching Craig Biggio grow up, just be an overall athlete was amazing because a lot of people don't know, he started as a catcher, then he moved to outfield, then he moved to second base, all while, getting his 3,000th hit, Hall of Fame career. And I just remember watching and seeing how he sacrificed for the team and just how he played the game the right way. I mean, he was the little guy that he might have hit a single, but he was sprinting it out to first, and if you bobbled it, he was going to try to figure out how to get a double. He didn't just jog down because he knew he had it.
Hustle guy, yeah. Is there a Netflix series that you're watching right now? Are you into Netflix, like, or what?
Yeah, no, I watch Netflix. Right now we're finishing season 4 of Lost Kingdom, sorry. Um, it's really good. I watched the first 3 seasons on my own, traveling, and then I made my husband catch up when season 4 came out. So
Okay.
we have 3 episodes left. It's good. It's very good. And then we watched Money Heist when
I
when
need to
quarantine
watch
first.
that. I need to watch that.
It's good. It just drags on. But yeah, I watched those 2, and then I mean I've watched the 13 Reasons Why. I know a new season of that came out. I haven't
Right.
watched it yet. I probably will. Try to think what else.
I'm into Ozark right now. I'm trying to like
Oh
finish
yeah,
the 3rd season. Don't tell me anything.
okay.
Don't say it.
I won't. I haven't caught up on Ozarks. Yeah, we caught up on Ozarks as soon as it came out. I think that was beginning of quarantine too. God, that feels like forever ago.
Right. Well, so take yourself back to when it was very quarantining. I know Texas is kind of
Yeah.
opening up. What was your day like? Like, how did you stay busy during that?
So Monday, Wednesday, Friday were my lift days. So I would wake up, I'd lift, usually clean some part of the house. I mean, I was scrubbing baseboards at one point by hand
Nice.
because I was bored.
Yes.
I would try to read a little bit, and then I have a Peloton that I love, so I'd get on the bike just to kind of do some cardio. Take my dogs on a walk in the evening. A little bit of work here and there. Thankfully, I was still at Texas State at the time when we first went into quarantine, so Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays we had either small group talks, individual talks, or a team talk. And we went through some mental game stuff with them, which was fun because since I'm still playing, my group got a good insight of mental game from a 37-year-old that's still active, which they enjoyed.
Yeah.
It was fun because afterwards they were like, "We're glad we're in your group because you're still playing." And I was like,
Yeah.
"It's good
No,
to add."
that's dope. That's really
So
cool. Awesome.
yeah, so it just got monotonous though. I can't lie. I'm not gonna
Hey,
pretend like I bulldozed through that like with no problems.
I know. I colored so much. I was looking up cartoons to draw, and yeah, it was getting a little crazy. It was getting a little weird.
Yeah,
It was getting a little weird.
I was getting ready to paint murals on the house walls or something.
Yeah. You're like, you know what? This wall could use some flavor. What is your favorite oh, actually no, we're gonna do this one. Toughest batter you've ever faced.
Oh,
Do you have like a
that's
kryptonite without like
there's
letting them
two.
know? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, Crystal Bustos just can hit anything. So anytime you face her, it's hard because you can have this like whole setup in mind, and you can throw a pitch 3 feet over her head, and somehow she hits it, and you're
Yeah,
like, dang it, that was not in the plan. You're
right.
not supposed to swing at
You're
that
not
one. That one was
supposed to do
just
that.
supposed
Yeah.
to. But for me, partly because we're really good friends, Kelly Crutchman was always so hard to pitch to because she had played with me for so long that anytime we had to face off, I knew she knew what I was thinking, so then I was trying to outthink that. But if she knew I was outthinking that, what would like
Right.
Megan Willis
Back
used
and
to say?
forth. Yeah.
Like Megan used to say it was the only at bat that was a mind game. She's like, you could cut the tension with a knife because Kelly was thinking one thing and Kat was
Right.
literally I was trying to be 2 steps ahead.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, we had some epic battles.
I love that. I love that. Do you have a moment in your career so far that you're most proud of?
Yeah, I think 2006, a lot of people don't know about World Championships. So World Championships is where we qualify for the Olympics. And then, so the top 4 teams go, and then if you win, you get the 1 seed, obviously. So we had gone, our roster had 6 pitchers. We got to medal rounds. We lost our first medal round to Japan, which meant we had to win 2 games on gold medal day. And I don't remember who I threw to in early rounds. I didn't throw the first medal round, but we're in China, so we have these like almost like the old Nokia cell phones. And they had probably maybe 50 minutes on them. They were simply to use to call each other, and that was it. Right. And my little cell phone rang, and it was Coach Candrea, and he was like, "Hey, how are you? How are you feeling?" I'm like, "Good, just, hanging in the hotel, whatever." And he's like, "Okay, well, I need 14 innings out of you today." And I remember, I'm like, "What? A game is 7?" Like, in my head, I'm like, "A game is 7 innings. What?"
Yeah.
And he goes, I need you to win the first one, and then I need you to win the second one." And I'm sitting here like, we have 6 people on roster, all very quality pitchers.
Capable. Yeah.
Right. And so sure enough, we go play Australia. We win. I don't remember the score. We have about 35, 40-minute break, and we go to Japan. And the Japan game is probably, when you talk about in the zone, like,
Right.
I was like zone in, everything worked.
Yeah.
Probably slightly because, you have to because you're tired.
Yeah.
But so I think that is probably my proudest moment, just because for me, yes, I'd won a gold medal in 2004, but being the youngest, I played a part, don't get me wrong, but it's not like I was the gold medal pitcher. But that was just, to me, in 2006, my statement of, you know what, yeah, I can do this. I've made it. That was kind of like, in my mind, my I've made it moment.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love hearing that. And I didn't even know that, so I think that's awesome. Good story. What led to your decision to come out of retirement? Like we talked about earlier, you retired and it was a thing, and then you're back and you're now heading to the 2021 Olympics. Like, talk about that decision. How hard was that? Was it easy? I mean, you tell me.
No, let's blame Kelly Kretschmann again.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love Kelly.
I do. And you and I talked about it a little bit when we were roommates in 19. So I have been coaching, and coaching's what I've always wanted to do. And I didn't want to have to sacrifice that to play. And Coach Erickson had asked me to get in the coaching pool, and I did. But when I wasn't selected as a coach, like, I wasn't upset about it. So to me, I was like, if I'm not upset about not being on the coaching staff, like, why am I in the pool?
Right.
So and part of me, I'm not gonna lie, part of me was like, I don't wish I could do college again. Like, college is done with. I had fun, great. I love teaching these girls, but
yeah,
I just knew deep down internationally I would have a hard time being a pitching coach when I can still do it, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I didn't really voice that to very many people except for my boss and Kelly. And Kelly went behind my back and told my boss she wants to play again. She just probably doesn't know it, and she's not going to even question it because she doesn't want to give up her job.
Classic.
So, so like a week later, my boss was like, "Hey, if you want to play again, we'll make it work." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "If you want to do it," she calls Kelly my sister because we fight like sisters. And she was like, "Your sister said you really want to play again." And I'm like, I never said that, but she's kind of right. And so the more I thought about it, I just felt like, as long as, obviously USA Softball, the committee, all that, if I performed well enough to prove that I can go help this team have a good chance at a gold medal, then I needed to do that. I know a lot of people want me to say, oh, I want to go over to Japan and get revenge on Japan. And don't get me wrong, there's a small part of me that wants to get revenge on Japan.
Right. Yeah.
But the overlying theme for me was just having the ability to go help this generation that wasn't sure they were going to be in Olympics have the best shot at winning a gold medal, because that's a pretty phenomenal moment that people need to have the opportunity to experience.
Cat, I am so excited to watch you play. I can't wait. Like, there's like the little kid in me, like my heart is just bursting for you to do this opportunity. I love you. I'm so excited for you. Yeah. We have one more question before we open it up to our fan questions. Okay. If you could have dinner with one other female athlete, let's pick someone that you might not really know. Okay. Who would you pick? Dead or alive?
Oh, dead or alive. I was like so ready to answer the one person.
Yeah.
I would say, I think I would, Layla Ali. I think she would be really cool to go to dinner with. Like,
that's so cool. Yeah, she's
right.
Awesome.
I'm sure I know I've been at Women's Sports Foundation things that she was
Same. Yeah.
at. We just haven't ever connected. Um, I just like what she stands for and how she presents things, and obviously in her own career, plus having been part of, her dad's life, like she
Yeah.
just has so much to offer. It's so cool.
For sure. Awesome choice. I would actually, maybe I can join that dinner. We can all
Yeah,
go together.
I'll invite you. I'll
Okay,
bring
cool.
you.
Okay, good.
You can be,
Let's
you can
see.
be, we'll kick Joey to the curb. You can be the plus one.
Yeah, you know what? That's the energy I need in my life, Kat. Okay, we have a good one right here. So this is probably, we only have enough time for this one, but how did you push yourself to stay in shape this long and keep a good attitude with it?
Yeah, well, let's tackle the attitude first because it's not always easy. And don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, it's funny this is the question because about a week ago I was so over everything.
Mm,
I was grumpy. I was crying almost after workouts because I was just like, why? But mainly because of quarantine, not because I've been doing it this long. Um, but I look at every workout as an opportunity right now for, I say to get better, but for me, physically, it's to stay better. To be honest, if you stay in shape, you don't have to get in shape, and so
right.
the older you get, the harder it is to get back in shape. And so I have I've probably missed, I want to say 5 or 6 workouts over the whole quarantine. I was going really good with only 2 at one point, but then I slacked off just a little bit. But
That's not bad though. Hey, touche. That's
no,
not
right. So it's a matter of, though, for me, it's like I don't want to like this or come up to Athletes Unlimited in Chicago and be like, oh, it's going to take me 2 weeks to get in shape. Like that's not going to
bad.
help
Right.
anybody. And then the other part of it is I just remember that this is a team sport, and no matter who I'm going to play with, whether it's Scrapyard, Athletes Unlimited. For right now, obviously the main focus is the Olympic team. Like there's 17 other women that I am accountable to, and for me to be the best for them come next July, I have to stay moving and stay doing things. And so right now, that's kind of my motivation, is the fact that I'm accountable to 17 others. As a younger athlete, as I said, it was easy to push myself because I wanted to be as close to perfection as possible in the circle. And I knew I had to get stronger and faster and do other things in order for that to happen. So
Yeah.
I always tell kids, set a goal and just, man, that goal needs to be on your mirror every morning. And even if it's a day that you don't have softball, you can do something towards that goal. If it's reading a book, if it's meditating on, if it's visualizing, whatever it is, you can do something every day and let that drive you.
Yeah. Be right back. I'm going to go write my goals down on my mirror. Well, that's all the time that we have today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for Athletes Unlimited live chats. This is going to happen again. Kat, we need to have you on again at some point,
Yeah,
but every
for
Friday,
sure.
4 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned with us and check it out. But Kat, best of luck. We love you. We're rooting for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.